Welcome to a special episode of Paranormal, True or False. In this episode, we will talk about space aliens. And do they exist? It is free to subscribe, so please subscribe. Thank you. Have creatures from other planets been on Earth? Are they still on Earth? There are so many conspiracy theories regarding space aliens. Are any of them right? Are all of them wrong? Well, didn't we Earthlings in the past 20 years invade Mars? But who did the invasions? Scientists. So if there's aliens from outer space on Earth, the first wave would always be the scientists to see what resources we have that they can utilize. The second wave would be if they do find that we have resources they need, that's when they would send their warriors to annihilate all of us and steal our resources. And the third wave would be the occupation. What if the Earth has already been through all three waves? What if it was the dinosaurs that were annihilated by space aliens, and then we humans took over Earth, and we were not originally Earthlings? Because we humans are a parasitic species, we have damaged so much of Earth's ecosystem that it is embarrassing how bad we are with this planet. But ultimately, is that why we don't take care of this planet? Is because we come from a different planet? So now you know and understand how much, when we don't know very much about a subject and we're having problems getting the answers, we can speculate like crazy. It doesn't mean that we're right, but we can share theories. And I did not believe in any space aliens until Earthlings put those rovers on Mars. We Earthlings have pretty much never played nicely together. So for us to get our act together enough to land a Earthling made item on another planet, oh, that totally convinced me that there are space aliens out there. Because if we can do it, that totally tells me other species can do it too. So what do we know so far? So the Hubble Space Telescope has approximately 100 billion galaxies identified within our one universe. And we are just a tiny dot in this larger spacious vastness. So to wrap our minds and our brains around this huge picture of the universe, let's look at each of these galaxies as if they were an island on Earth. And every island on Earth has some type of wildlife on it. So knowing that there's hundreds of islands on Earth and they're separated by a significant distance from any mainland predators, and yet life still thrives in those environments. Well, then logically, we have to say that in spite of how large our universe is, we cannot be the only intelligent species in this universe. They may not look like us or act like us, but they've got to exist. And did Star Wars get closer to what really is out there? with this assortment of different species that they came up with. And this is just a small percentage of what they came up with. And another species from a different galaxy than our own might not eat the same things we eat, may not drink the same things we drink, may not breathe the same types of chemicals that we have to breathe in order to survive. But there's just too many galaxies, too many stars, too much happening, and that's just the universe we know of. Isn't it safe to say that there might be other universes, and not just a multiverse, but other universes? We don't have all the answers. And I doubt that we will get all the answers in my lifetime. So, what about the alien abductions that we hear about so often? Are alien abductions happening? What does it make sense for them to be happening? If we stick with the philosophy that the first wave is going to be scientists, then would these scientists risk their own species by having a human being on their ship or on their planet? Well, they would under two circumstances. Either they're too stupid, greedy, and seeking power to notice that they could jeopardize their own species, or they're a highly advanced species who knows that and already has methods in place to protect themselves. So we'll pretend that we have the latter. So, what would be the benefit to them to take a human being or an earthling to their planet or onto their ships? I can see them doing scientific research on human beings to understand how weak we are or how strong we are. But they would have to also know that there's other predatory species on our planets that we do not necessarily control. I don't think I've heard any abduction stories where they talk about, oh yeah, there was a whole Noah's Ark worth of animals that they're also poking and sticking probes into. I feel like if they're scientists doing testing, they're going to be testing everything. So a lot of the abduction stories that I've heard, I'm very skeptical of because I just feel like, seriously, you probably drink too much or smoke the wrong stuff and you are tripping with hallucinations. I do find it fascinating that the reports of alien abductions as well as sightings of UFOs all occurred after hallucinogens were created in 1938. So to say that I'm skeptical, yes, I am skeptical about alien abductions. However, stranger things have happened, so I'll try to stay open minded to that being possible. What about native art that appears to depict space aliens? Throughout the world, there's rock art that depicts unusual shaped humanoid species. Interpreters view these as proof of alien existence and potentially alien abductions. This art would imply aliens have been on this planet for centuries. But are these really aliens? Couldn't this rock art just be capturing native populations during a ritual or after a ritual? The headgear, the mask, what was worn by native populations throughout the world is unique and different. Could that be what the rock art is actually depicting? So, do we have spaceships that we're capturing on film? Everything about cameras is about lights and angles. And depending on what position you're pointing that camera at and what the light is, you can get some real distortions of real objects. If you're in a parking lot and it's a foggy night and you're standing underneath one of the parking lot lights, this would be the image you would get. This is most likely flares from parachuters. There are a lot of parachuters that like to put flares on their heels and do these aerial stunts and capture these type of images when that happens. Again, this is a plane, but most likely it's at an angle that we don't see the wings. Same with this one, where it's simply at an angle we don't see the wings. So chances are those UFO sightings and UAP sightings that you're thinking are spaceships are lights, are birds, are weather balloons, are actual planes at an odd angle, but not necessarily spaceships. And if you rule out all of those things, then you might have a spaceship. So, what is my summation about aliens? Well, it's pretty simple. I believe that aliens do exist. I believe it is possible multiple species have already been to Earth. Keyword possible. But I'm skeptical about a lot of the abduction stories. I also think that it's possible that more than one government has captured one of these invaders and probably killed it and did an autopsy on it. Again, keyword possibly. So, do you believe in aliens and spaceships? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, thanks for watching this special episode. And if you don't mind subscribing, I'd appreciate it because it does help the channel out. I didn't have a chance to reach out to Jim and ask for some music for this space video. The kind of the creepy stuff that I normally use didn't really vibe with the whole outer space thing. So, any rate, I had to use the stock audio from the editing software. Thank you for watching Paranormal, True or False.